there certainly could be some damaging winds even north of the state line here related to this storm. So a lot of lightning, some large hail here now moving just about on top of Southwick. Here's a wider view now, and this line of lightning here that extends from Northampton down through Southampton and Westfield, and then that moves into the Pioneer Valley, the Springfield area, and into the Southwick area. New information, Nick?
A couple things. The tornado warning has been allowed to expire, but in Heartland, Connecticut, they just had a report of 1.75-inch diameter hail, and that is what is heading toward that notch in Southwick. So we'll prepare for 1.5 to 2-inch diameter hail heading towards Southwick right now. And I believe we've got 22 Storm Team meteorologist Jennifer Paye live in Blandford. Just to your south, there's some really damaging winds and hail.
We are live in Blandford. 22 News Storm Team meteorologist Jennifer Paye here. And as you can see, as of right now, it is just raining. I am going to step out of the shot so you can see what's going on behind me. Now, I would say just about, 20 minutes ago, it was pouring rain, and all you could hear was the rain coming down. There's now lots of puddles out on the ground. Not many people out on the road, and if they are, they're taking their time out here on this active weather afternoon. We heard a couple rumbles of thunder, saw a couple streaks of lightning, but as of right now, that is it that's going on here in Blandford. Winds are light. The winds have not seemed to be a problem. I don't know if you just heard that, but I just saw some lightning, and of course now just hearing the thunder. So not too much activity going on here in Blandford right now. Again, the rain has actually lightened up a little bit within these last couple of minutes. It was pouring. In fact, it was hard to even see. We pulled over. But as of right now, again, we're just hearing the thunder. We're seeing some lightning. The rain is beginning to lighten up just a little bit. And again, the winds, not a problem as of right now. But of course, I just did a Facebook Live here in Blandford. So maybe if you're on Facebook or Twitter, you can follow me here. And I'm going to be keeping my eye on the storms as they continue to roll through this afternoon, this evening. For now, I'll toss it back over, and I'll have an update coming up later on the show.
All right, Jen, thank you. While you were speaking, a new tornado warning for Hartford and northwest of Hartford, just on the other side of Southwick and just south of Enfield. We'll let you know because we've got a lot of people here in Western Massachusetts that either work in Connecticut or drive to Connecticut, and we've got a tornado warning now for the Hartford area. Let me zoom in just a little bit, and you can see the notch there of Southwick and the line for the tornado warning just to the south. So if you continue along Route 202 through Southwick into Connecticut, you're going to run right into that tornado warning. It is a Doppler radar indicated tornado warning there with the potential for 2-inch diameter hail. The only reason I mention that, again, it's just straddling the state line and the potential for some of that hail to still clip parts of Western Massachusetts.
Yeah. Tornadoes are on the southern side of these storms back over in this area here, and that's good news for us here in Western Massachusetts. But as Nick just mentioned, we could get into some of the hail with this storm on the northern fringes, and certainly you can see all this lightning. That's going to be very close to Southwick, and generally speaking, this storm is very close to the Pioneer Valley. So the tornado watch for us continues through 9 o'clock. So there is the potential for severe weather here through the evening hours, and we have an assortment of strong to severe thunderstorms that range from the Connecticut state line here all the way to the Vermont state line here in Western Massachusetts. So if you haven't gotten the message yet, now is the time to get inside, especially if you live along and just east of the Connecticut River. The storms are coming for you now. You can see this line of lightning here. This gives you a pretty good indication of where the storms are, from Holyoke and Northampton through Westfield, and now moving into Southwick, and eventually this will get into West Springfield and Agawam within the next hour or so, half an hour or so, and obviously into Springfield within the next 45 minutes. And there is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Springfield, Holyoke, West Springfield, Wilbraham, and Long Meadow as well. This is a live look from Westfield right now, and obviously you can see that the storm is moving through downtown Westfield right now, and it's just a matter of time before we get into some lightning. In fact, I'm just looking across the room here at the 22 News Storm Team ESP live Doppler radar, and the core of the storm is moving right through downtown Westfield right now with frequent lightning and that heavy rain. So far, we have not heard of any damage in Hamden, Hampshire, or Franklin County. That's relatively good news, but we do have over 400 power outages already in Berkshire County. I believe we have a live report from 20 News reporter Haley Crumbleholm. Haley, I'm not sure where you are. Oh, you're in West Hampton.
The rain has subsided a bit here in West Hampton, but just within the last 10 minutes, it was really pouring here, making the visibility while driving pretty low. You can see the roads are not particularly busy right now. The rain was really coming down. The windshield wipers could barely keep up. Though the rain has died down a bit right now, we can still hear rumbles of thunder, and we have seen some lightning. In West Hampton, Haley Crumbleholm, 22 News.
All right, and we are back. Here's a quick look at our 22 News Storm Team ESP live Doppler radar. Nick and I were just looking at the radar, and this right now we believe is the main event. West of this area of storminess, the rain is light and things are fairly quiet here west of the Berkshires. Still a little bit of lightning, a little bit of rain here over New York State, but we expect that this will be the worst of it. So the Pioneer Valley right now is into the worst of the storms. We expect that the lightning and the gusty winds will continue here for the next hour to 45 minutes, and then we'll be more or less out of the woods. We'll obviously have to keep watching because we have that tornado watch in effect until 9 o'clock tonight. But right now, the core of the storms are right along the Connecticut River in Franklin County, a little bit east, and then they move down into the Westfield area. So actually, the storms are crossing the Connecticut River as we speak. We're hearing thunder here, and you are probably hearing thunder where you are. So frequent lightning. The good news is that as we take a close look at this, the lightning is a little less frequent here, but nonetheless, there are clusters of lightning. You can see a little area of frequent lightning right now over East Hampton. That is moving toward Northampton and Holyoke and South Hadley. That'll be crossing the Connecticut River, we expect, within the next 40 minutes or so. You can see the Westfield area and just east of Route 10 and 202. Westfield, West Springfield, West Holyoke. You're into some heavy weather right now with frequent lightning and heavy downpours. And then eastern Hampshire County, Granby and Belchertown, a lot of lightning there for you as well. Nick was mentioning that the tornado warning had been continued for northern Connecticut, but so far we have not had any tornado warnings for Hamden, Hampshire, or Franklin County here in western Massachusetts. Very heavy rain right now over Southwick, and you can see Southwick is essentially surrounded by lightning. We more or less lucked out here in terms of the core of this storm just missing Southwick on the radar. That's good news for Southwick, but certainly there is the potential for some damaging weather over Southwick over the next 15 minutes or so, and then this will be moving into Agawam and West Springfield, and eventually Springfield right in here, and then eastern Hamden County. But a good sign that the core of this storm right here has stayed to our south. That's not to say that there isn't dangerous weather out there, because there's a lot of lightning right now centered between, I would say, Hadley through Northampton, Holyoke, and into West Springfield, and this is moving to the east, but the largest of the large hail stayed out of our way, which is certainly good news in terms of damage. But we still have the tornado watch in effect until 9 o'clock tonight, and there are still severe thunderstorm warnings in effect until 4:30, I believe, this afternoon. It's 4:10 right now. Nick?
Yeah. Yeah, so let's just sum things up here before we, if we end up going off the air as we wrap up some of the worst of the storms. We do still have severe thunderstorm warnings here for parts of western Massachusetts. Mostly it's central and eastern Hampden County is our last severe thunderstorm warning. That'll go until 4:45, but we still have that tornado warning over the state line in Connecticut. Our lights are flickering here at 22 News at least a little bit because of the storminess in the area. As far as the Springfield area goes, the worst of the storm is arriving for you now, so we can't forget that. And we've got frequent lightning in and around the Springfield area. Driving up and down I-91 is going to be slow because of the heavy rain. I think we've got our Springfield Skycam, and you can see that slow down as all that traffic is heading in the direction of Connecticut, where that worst of the storm is. Wouldn't be the worst idea if you're thinking of heading south. Wait a little bit until that storm with a tornado warning in Connecticut passes, because you're just driving into worse and worse weather here the farther south you go, and you can see the northbound traffic is fine. There's also going to be the risk for some street flooding with the heavier downpours that we're watching outside now, and we still have a severe thunderstorm warning until 4:45 for central. Just got a report of nickel-sized hail.
That is moving toward the end up with some strong thunderstorms. So again, if you have to be out this afternoon, certainly be very careful driving around, as there will probably be some power lines down, some trees down across roadways as well, and any outdoor activities, at least for the next hour or so, you want to stay inside, because this lightning is very dangerous. So we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect until 4:45 for Hampden County, and we also have the tornado watch in effect until 9 o'clock for all of western Massachusetts. So Hampden, Hampshire, and Franklin County until 9 o'clock, and for Berkshire County until 8 o'clock. This is interesting. They just took down the chunk of the tornado warning. So we'll probably see this tornado watch. We'll start to see the National Weather Service cancel this tornado watches from over the next couple of hours. All right, we're going to go to Adam Stremko right now, who is out in the storm as well. Adam, what can you tell us from the ground?
It's coming down pretty heavy. We've had some very intense thunder and lightning. Well, Nick and Brian, we're here in Southwick along Route 202 at the Dollar Tree, and we've of course had that tornado warning that had been in effect for Southwick. But what we're dealing here with right now is some very heavy rain. We'll show you that right now. This is the parking lot here, and we've also seen some very intense lightning here. We had a strike just a few minutes ago that was like right over us, and I know looking at the radar we were seeing a lot of the lightning that associated with those storms just over the state line in Connecticut moving to Southwick, and of course that's what we're seeing here. We haven't seen much in the way of any hail. Thought we might start to see some hail with some of this very heavy rain. and really haven't seen much in the way of wind, so that's some good news. Of course, we had that tornado warning, and I believe that tornado warning is just to the south of us into Connecticut, but definitely some very intense thunder and lightning with this storm. The power so far has stayed on, but dealing with some very heavy rain that's coming down here. Of course, we were in the Westfield area where the storms were moving through, but right along the state line, as you've been showing, that's where we've been dealing with some of these very severe storms, and also the very intense thunder and lightning, and also the tornado warning that was in effect for this area. So we'll continue to monitor the situation. We'll keep you updated. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Adam, hey, get inside to the safety of the news car, because obviously you've got some lightning overhead and some heavy rain. Safety first, my friend, safety first. You can see that we've got a little batch of frequent lightning that's moving out of Southwick, along with some heavy rain into Agawam and moving toward West Springfield and Springfield. So right now, this batch of lightning is moving toward the Connecticut River. So again, if for some reason you have people that are near you outside, get them inside, get them to a safe place. You can see the tornado warning here. That is for northern Connecticut. The heaviest of that weather has missed us to the south. That is good news, but obviously we still have the threat for severe weather here up and down the valley. You can see that there are some nasty storms right here over eastern Hampshire and eastern Franklin County. This is a live look from Westfield, and the good news here is that at least for now the worst is over in Westfield. That storminess is moving to the east into the Holyoke area and also into West Springfield and Springfield along the Connecticut River. So so far so good here for Westfield. Haven't heard any reports of damage. We have had some reports of small hail to the west of Westfield. In Granville, I believe, we had some nickel-sized hail, and that is still a possibility. You can see here that it's pouring now in Springfield, and I-91 is moving slowly southbound. This is the type of rain that will really slow you down quite a bit, and there could be some small hail embedded in these areas of rain that we see in red on the 22 News Storm Team ESP live Doppler radar. There's still plenty of lightning here. Seems like the lightning right now is in a couple of clusters, one over the Southwick and Agawam area, one over Holyoke, Northampton, and South Hadley, and another one in the Belchertown area. There's a live look at Southwick. Nick has got some new information to share with us.
New information out of Southwick, in fact, just a few minutes ago, reports of ping-pong-sized hail in Southwick. That's 1.5 inches in diameter. So that report came at roughly 4:10. I know Adam Stremko is there right now, safely in a vehicle away from the lightning. We don't want to put any of our reporters in harm's way here.